Okay, 42 days of Keto Chow. Today is day 18. It's my first day, well, where I'm here at the Keto Chow warehouse full time. This is my job now. um, anyway, so let's talk about, well, it's day 18. Let's talk about my weight loss so far. According to so I'm using a Y Things scale. Well, at least it used to be called Y Things. Now it's called Nokia. Anyway, it still says Y Things on my scale. It's a Wi-Fi scale, so you step on it and it automatically uploads your weight, and then that gets put into Chronometer or Fitbit or whatever other app you want. Nice thing about Y Things is that you can export and import your weight. It's your data. You can do whatever you want with it. I actually have data that goes all the way back to 2006. Yeah, I think it's 2006. Anyway, so every day when I step on the scale, it just automatically adds it to Chronometer, so I don't have to think about it. You can actually use the Y Things web app and application to put your weight data in, and just manually if you want, and then it'll send it to other apps. Whatever. It's a nice central place to keep weight. But as of this morning, it says that I am down 14.7 pounds. So I'm on the third week of my experiment. Hey, that's not bad. Um, and now some of that's due a bit to me. Before I started the experiment, I had like 2 or 3 days after January 1st where I was like, maybe I should eat that brisket that I put in the freezer. And maybe I should eat that smoked chicken legs that I put in the freezer. And so I did eat more than normal. I didn't like eat a bunch of carbs because I just don't do that. I don't see a reason to do it. Not when I can have keto food that's absolutely fantastic. So anyway, but I do weigh less now than I did when I ended my experiment in December, where I did 2 weeks of half avocado oil, half heavy cream, and I weigh less than I did when I did my 4 week experiment back in November. So it's all good. Now my ketones. Right now I'm doing heavy cream only, and my ketones are lower than they were when I was doing the oil. I suspect that that's due to the higher amount of net carbs, because when you do just the oil, you can get an insanely low amount of net carbs. Like we're talking a gram and a half in a day, and almost all of that is entirely the lactose, the little bit of lactose that's in the protein. So yeah, I'm around the 1.3 to 1.5 instead of like a 3, but still that's still a good amount, and it's not a problem. It's just kind of interesting. Now, one thing this is completely unrelated, but yesterday when I was getting out of the shower, I noticed that my back didn't hurt, which it probably should have, because the day before, on Saturday, I had spent about 3 hours shoveling snow. So we got a really big storm. It's actually the first storm we've gotten here in Utah this entire winter, like a sizable storm, more than like an inch of snow. And we got about 12 inches where I live. Other places nearby were reporting 16 inches, but I think we were about 12. But it was a really heavy, wet snow because it was right around freezing point, and so it was just really heavy. But my back didn't hurt. My arms don't hurt. It's just fine, which I think is interesting. I'm not going to attribute to anything, but hey, it's interesting nonetheless. Now, right before I started making this video, I was throwing together a suitcase of all the stuff I need to take with me when I go on a trip to San Francisco later this week. There's a company called Human, spelled HVMN, all caps. They're in Silicon Valley in San Francisco, and they're the ones who invented they're the first ones to come to market. How about that? With a pure ketone ester drink. So normally when you do exogenous ketones, you're doing a salt of ketones. It's either got magnesium or sodium or potassium as the carrier, and then you have the ketone hooked onto that. You can also do pure ketones, and it smells and apparently tastes like kerosene or like nail polish remover, acetone, more likely. Um, I haven't ever tried it, mainly because, well, I haven't ever used exogenous ketones. I prefer to make my own, but also the little bottle it's $100 a shot, so I don't have that much money. But those guys are sponsoring a thing about biohacking. What's it called? State of the art in human performance, athlete, military, and biohacking perspectives. Um, they're having a bunch of people come by. They're talking about ketones and ketogenic diets and all that sort of, just biohacking in general, because that's all the rage in Silicon Valley right now. But we're one of the people who are sponsoring it. Keto Mojo is going to be there, which will be cool. I tweeted to them and said, "Hey, you're going to have to let me borrow your ketone tester because mine will be at home, because I'm going to fly out on Wednesday. Yeah, so it's on Wednesday. I'm going to fly out Wednesday afternoon, go to the thing, and then not go to a hotel. The first flight I could find out of there was the Thursday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific time. And I didn't want to go through the hassle of getting a hotel and going there and sleeping for like 2 hours and then going to the airport. So I'm just going to go straight to the airport, chill out, watch some Netflix or movies or whatever, and try to maybe get some sleep and then come home. So I've been packing a suitcase to get ready for that, just so that I can start putting stuff in there instead of thinking about what I need to put in there. I can actually put it in there, and then it's out of sight, out of mind. Anyway, I did get a really weird comment on, I don't remember if it was yesterday's or the day before, but someone said, is this instead of eating real food, life enjoyment is in chewing and swallowing? Then something about not checking email. Anyway, well, first off, this is real food. It's just not real food like you traditionally think of. And by real food, what do you mean? Are you talking about steak? Are you talking about bread? Are you talking about vegetables? Are you talking about, I don't know, candy? What's your definition of real food, and what makes your definition of real food more or less valid than my definition? I actually get that quite a bit from people in the keto community. They're like, "Well, this isn't real food." I'm like, don't you get tired of people getting down on your way of eating? You know, you go to a restaurant and you say, "No, I don't want bread," and like the world ends. Aren't you tired of that? Won't you afford me the same courtesy that you would like from other people? You know, I'm just saying. But this is real food. It's just different. Now, do I eat this all the time? Well, currently, yes, but that's because I'm doing an experiment. Yesterday, when we went to my parents' house and they had that, my mom had made broccoli and chicken and cream cheese, and it smelled so good. Would I have eaten that normally? Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Would I eat some bread? No. Would I eat cake? Why? I can have like keto cheesecake. Why would I eat regular cake? That's silly. But this is real food. Once again, it's just different real food. It's nutritionally complete, has everything that you need. And of course, I'm doing this as part of an experiment. Like I said earlier, people in the keto community get down on Keto Chow all the time, which is why I actually did that original experiment. The one where my hypothesis is I will not die. Turns out I was right. Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, this isn't real food. You can't survive on this. You can't have sucralose and still be ketosis. You have to chew." I think I already said that. You know, basically, I wanted to prove a point. And my way of proving the point was to eat just Keto Chow for 4 weeks, which I did. And it was fine. But I got that really weird result with my triglycerides. And so I'm redoing the experiment, except this time I'm isolating out the different, not amino acids, fatty acids, polyunsaturated versus monounsaturated versus saturated, to see how those have different effects. And then I'm throwing in somewhat 300 grams of carbs just to see what it does. Today, I scheduled a DEXA scan. I actually scheduled 2 DEXA scans. One I'm going to be doing at the end of the fat period, where I'm finishing up the, I guess it's 5 weeks with coconut oil, so that I can get my body composition according to the DEXA scan. And then I'm going to do another one just 7 days later, after I finish the dextrose, which is powdered glucose portion of the test, because it'll be interesting to see how my body composition changes during that 1 week doing glucose. So, yeah. Anyway, that's what's going on today. What do I got now? Okay, then that's not eggnog. This is my other favorite flavor that I'm not going to tell you about just yet. But I did talk to my flavor house, not my the co-packing facility that I use. The people who have been providing the flavor for Keto Chow 2.0, they were supposed to have gotten back with nutrition information and a bunch of other stuff, because we're slightly tweaking some stuff with 2.1, and they pushed back. They're like, well, can you give us some estimates on how much is going to be used? And because we need to justify this before we go through the process of making this new flavor for you. And my co-packer fired back with, this is one of our fastest growing clients, and he's responsible for most of the stuff we're sending to you. So don't worry about it. We'll just go to this other flavor house. We'll have them match your flavor, and yeah, so long. So it'll take a little bit longer. We're waiting on the banana, the strawberry, and the cookies and cream, because those are going to have to be revised. Yeah, so we'll have the new place make up the flavors. They'll be dried on acacia gum, which is interesting because most flavors that you can get normally, they always want to dry them on maltodextrin, which is starch, which is carbs, which is not what you want on a keto diet. And we're talking about 1 or 2 grams of carbs, maybe 1.5. But that's as many carbs as there are in Keto Chow without the flavor. So why would I want to double the amount of carbs? If you're doing avocado oil or one of the other oils and you're not doing heavy cream, yeah, you're doubling the amount of net carbs just by adding the flavor, and that's silly. So we'll go to the other flavor house, get them to make it up on acacia gum, which is the fiber that we're using anyway. And yeah, it just might be another week or 2. So hopefully we're moving on that. And then I can tell you all what this flavor is. Anyway, yeah, catch you later.